Welcome to Burning Questions, the interview series where we get real with B2B tech leaders by eating spicy foods while asking 10 questions. I am Daniel Rodriguez, your host, and I'm joined today by Brian Kardon, the CMO at Fuze.
Good
Welcome.
to see you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us and being daring enough.
My pleasure.
You've heard, you know what you're getting into today.
I've been warned by many friends not to do this. I've been told the salsa particularly is very dangerous. And despite all their good judgment, I am here. I don't know if you guys know this, but Fuze loves Alice. So we actually use the product, and it's very effective, and it's one of our highest converting programs we run. So, and that's why I'm having this food for one of my colleagues, Rachel Foster, on my team, who is really the lead on all of our campaigns working with Alice. So I thought that'd be appropriate.
Excellent. So you do get to play, and thank you for those kind words. We love working with you as well.
Does she get the gift whether I play or win or I lose?
You do have to complete. Ostensibly, you have to complete.
Is that written down somewhere? Is that like...
That was in the waiver that you signed. So you get through, and then Alice is going to give you 3 suggestions for Rachel, who we actually know and love also.
Ah, yes.
So we're really excited for you to make it all the way through for Rachel. So for Rachel, here we go.
I don't know what you do. So you're like the head of revenue?
Yes.
Are you like the chief sales guy? Is that what that means? Just like a new way of talking about head of sales?
A little sales, a little marketing, a little customer success.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay, got it.
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So, without further ado, let's get real.
Sweating.
Spin the wheel.
Schwitzing.
Schwitzing.
I'm a big schwitzer.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So as our first vegan, we're not going to have any chicken nuggets here that we're dipping this into. So you can just grab one of your chips. This is my favorite sauce. We're just going to do little dabs. Whoa, that was an aggressive pour. This is like a South Carolina like mustard-based barbecue.
Oh, it's nice.
So growing up in Philadelphia,
Yeah.
what's an early memory you have, and what did you want to be?
Perfect timing for a question. It's interesting. My father was a surgeon. My mother was an opera singer. And on the weekend, I wanted to play ball. And of course, my dad really cared about his fingers. And so he never played ball with me. So he was a wonderful guy, talking about reading and study and everything. But he wouldn't throw a football or baseball. And of course, my mother, who was an opera singer, she was a coloratura soprano, she needed somebody to accompany her in the arias. So little sissy boy Brian would accompany my mother to, mostly Italian opera, so Rossini and Puccini and Verdi and those sorts of people. So growing up, I always thought I'd be a musician. And we had lots of family friends who were musicians. And my mother was an opera singer. My father actually wrote his class song. And we have some Grammy Award winners in my family who've won for songs. A guy named David Raxon, who was a film composer. And almost everyone in my family naturally, played music. And so I grew up with piano, clarinet, saxophone. And it's funny, my daughter Isabel, growing up, of course, I would always play piano around the house. And she thought every daddy played the piano. So she's doing a play date at a friend's house, and they had a piano there. And she said, "Oh, Mr. So-and-so, could you please play the piano?" And he said, "I don't play the piano." And she looked at him and says, "I don't understand. All daddies play the piano." That was her world, So I thought I'd be a musician.
Wow, yeah. That's really cool.
But I have the best of all worlds, Daniel, because I get to play in a band, and I play weekends, and I accompany singers, so I have a great time.
We're gonna talk more about that, actually. So don't jump ahead, because I've got more questions about this.
Okay.
We know this about you. One of the things, actually, I saw the background of your Twitter. What is shown? Do you remember? It looks like it's some classical.
Yeah, it's actually nothing particularly famous or anything. It's just I thought it just fits sizing well, and it looked like an old piece of parchment and of some polyphonic music. Okay. So I assume it's something from like late 18th century, mid 18th century.
I don't know enough to be able to actually decipher what it was.
Yeah.
But I was going to try to flatter you and do that.
No, it's not like the White Album where if you play it backwards, it says, "We love Alice." It's not like one of these like try to find the Pope and the pizza. There's no like special message or anything.
All right, question 2. Spin the wheel.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Reaper.
The Reaper salsa. That's this one right here, with some Carolina Reaper peppers in it. Dunk. What was your first job, and what did you learn from it?
I was a clarinet teacher, and I was terrible. I was the worst clarinet teacher imaginable. I couldn't drive, and I would get some students from the school, and my mother would drive me, and I had my little clarinet and everything, and I wasn't focused enough on the important stuff. So I don't think that I prepared enough for the lessons, and that was something. I'm always early for things. I always prepare very thoroughly. That was a lesson I learned. Certainly, if you're selling and you're dealing with prospects, you got to be really well prepared for anything that could come up. And so that was a big lesson for me, preparation. And then I think something I learned is that the parents, it was like a doctor's appointment. You know, you come out of the lesson and the parents say, how's my son or daughter doing on their clarinet? And I never knew whether to betray the child or not, you know? Like if the child clearly hasn't practiced and is puffing their cheeks and is just a miserable clarinetist, I don't know whether to say maybe they should play soccer, you know, or they have no career at all. And so I was not honest with them. I said, you know, little Susie's doing a great job. She's practicing. She could practice a little bit more. So I never was as honest as I could be. And so now I'm very honest with almost everything. I was a little bit too diplomatic, even then when I was, 14 or something.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see it. Question number 3.
Oh, jeez.
All right. So we're going to sub in anything of your choice.
What would you
here.
recommend? Because you know these better than me.
What are you? I mean, are you looking for something that's going to kind of tingle the nose?
No.
Are you looking for something
I'm
that's
looking.
going to have a delayed gratification, as I call it.
Gratification's good.
Okay. This one here is actually, it's more of like a barbecue
Cool.
based. So it's a little sweet.
Yeah, that's nice.
And it's good. And it's good. It's not
Excellent.
insane.
Good.
Which I would characterize a couple of these on that scale.
Oh, it's got a nice sweetness to it.
No.
Yeah, a little thickness. It's good.
If you could give your 20-year-old self advice, what would it be?
This idea of curiosity and always learning is something that I actually learned from my father. So he was a surgeon, and what he realized is that the medical field is evolving so quickly. And of course, being marketers, technology is changing so quickly in everything we do. So this idea of reinventing yourself and always learning new things and not stagnating. I've met some marketers who sort of bring the same playbook to every company they go to. And that's a big mistake because they only have one playbook. And so you have to be very open and curious and try new things. I think, Daniel, if you ask people on my marketing team a little bit about me, they would say that Brian always asks the most questions, and he's always curious about everything. And I'm not afraid to ask someone very junior on my team, tell me how that works, or sit down with me and show me how to do this. So this idea of continuously rethinking who you are and what skills you have. Because at the end of the day, that's all we have is the set of skills. And so you want to always evolve them and keep them as current as possible.
That's great advice. Being able to not have all the answers, but have all the questions.
Yeah, I have a lot
Yeah.
of questions.
All right. Question number 4. I have some as well. Question number 4. Here
Nice
we go.
segue, nice one.
All right. Oh, this is another
Choose your own adventure.
adventure. So the Cornferno popcorn, I think, has elicited the most fun responses from people. I'm not saying that it's the spiciest thing here. I think it's just the way it works. So,
Okay, let's have some fun.
All
Let's
right.
do it. It's called Cornferno.
yeah, I'm telling you, it feels like it gets you in the nose. It's a little bit of a... You are an accomplished tenor sax player, apparently as well as clarinet. What's the most fun you've had playing?
So when I was about 16 years old, my saxophone teacher had hurt his lip, and he couldn't go to a recording session in Philadelphia. And at the time in Philadelphia, there was a record label called Philadelphia International Records, and they had the Pointer Sisters, Lou Rawls, Teddy Pendergrass, Patti LaBelle, and so he couldn't go. And he said, Brian, his name was Vince, and he said, you'll have to go to my gig for me, and because I can't go, I need someone to go, and I tried these other guys, and I said to Vince, I said, I'm not a member of the union, and he says, here's my union card. And so I'm 16 years old, and he gives me his union card. His name is Vince Trombetta. And Vince was like a 50-year-old, heavy-set Italian guy with a giant mustache, this big mustache. And so I said, they're never going to let me in. He says, trust me, they're going to let you in because I'm head of the union or something, Musicians Union, the AFM, American Federation of Musicians. So the next day, my mother again drives me to Broad Street in Philadelphia, and there are two big guys at the front door, and I said, I'm here for the gig. And they said, let me see a union card, kid. So I take out my union card, and I look at it, I give it to the guy, and he looks at it, and he says, I'll never forget it, him. He says, nice to meet you, Vince. Of course, he knew Vince for 20 years. They had all, played together, and they knew each other. So I go to the gig, and you don't get the music ahead of time. And one of the reasons I realized that Vince had asked me to substitute for him is I'm a pretty good sight reader. But it's very unforgiving. So you're pretty much in a soundproof booth, and there's a microphone just at you. At the time, there were these like plexi panels, and they can isolate. They had this big mixing board with like 36 different, inputs, and I did very well. And they asked me back on different recordings. So I'm actually on the recordings of a lot of songs that were on LPs and were hits and everything, and it was really fun. So even after Vince's lip had healed, I continued to go to gigs. And it was really terrific. I joined the union then, and it was really a lot of fun for a kid. And that was just great.
Wow. And you mentioned you play in a cover band right now.
Yeah, I play in a band.
Or I don't know if it was cover.
No, it's not a cover band. It's
sorry.
a Latin band. We actually play Latin music.
Yeah.
Our bass player is named Oscar Staniero, who's on the faculty at Berkeley. And so we mostly play Latin music. He plays with Paquito de Rivera, and it's just a lot of fun. So our piano player is an immigration lawyer, and our drummer is a professor of dentistry at Harvard Dental School.
Wow.
And Oscar's our bass player and our leader, and I play tenor sax, and we love that.
Where do you guys play?
Mostly in a guy's basement in Sudbury.
Yeah. Fun. Wow, that's great. All right. Question number 5. Here we go. Oh, we're just doing all this choose your own adventure because you keep landing on the.
I'm going to go with not that. You said avoid that all.
Well, that's a good one to avoid.
Okay, this
one's got some pineapple flavor,
like that,
which is kind of fun.
Yeah, we could go to the tropics here.
Yeah. Oh, this is a double dose here. You're putting it on the Cornferno.
That's the kind of guy I am.
Wow. Okay. This is a new level, Brian. We haven't had anybody do that before. Okay.
That was such a mistake. What was I thinking? It's so stupid. More tea.
In 2015, you wrote a post titled "The Folly of Persistence."
Oh yeah.
In which you wrote that sales rep persistence has a point of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
So you always hear about stories of a sales rep who called 5, 10, 20, 30 times. And when they finally get through, they connect, and they're like a hero, and it's for persistence. And so I wanted to understand quantitatively whether that was a good idea or a bad idea. At what point do you have diminishing returns? So we actually had a very good set of data at the company where we used to work for, Lattice Engines, that does predictive analytics and artificial intelligence. And I looked at this large data set, and we did the data science, the analysis, and we found out that past a certain point, I think it was 11 calls, the likelihood of converting goes down. So you're sort of wasting. And so the idea was the folly of persistence. So the other thing we learned is that if a BDR or a rep is calling, sometimes you hear, I want to call 1 time a week for the next 10 weeks. That's actually not a good strategy. We learned that bursts are much better. You want to have sort of a critical period of like a surge of engagement. So you want to call maybe 3 or 4 days in a row, then wait a week, several days in a row. So that's much more effective than calling once a week. But basically, the conversion rate falls off pretty dramatically after 10 or 11 calls.
Interesting. All right. Question number 6. This is funny. I feel like we keep landing on this.
I think I'm just going to have the chip.
No. This is for Rachel. For Rachel. You know what we should do is, I think a little bit of Da Bomb.
Okay.
I think Da Bomb.
Oh, I've heard about this. I heard about this.
This one it's good.
Okay.
In a way. All right. You're a Broadway fan. So I've decided to test, and these images will be up on the screen for people. I'm going to test your Broadway fan knowledge by showing you series of pictures, and you tell me which Broadway musical this is from.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
All right, here we go.
That's Les Miserables.
There we go. Correct. Ding, ding, ding.
You got to flip it the other way.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's Book of Mormon.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
Many times. I play
I've
it.
never laughed so hard in my
It's
entire
so
life.
unbelievable.
I've never
Yeah.
laughed so hard.
Yeah. I do not know. I do not recognize that scene.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Oh, Hamilton.
That
Sorry.
is correct. These
No.
are the Schuyler sisters. Work, work.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm actually seeing that again this weekend. So it's playing in Boston now.
Yeah, I'm going to be there in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Actually.
So it's people are buying the whole
weeks.
subscription just to get this. I couldn't get a ticket in New York without paying like $9,000.
Yes.
So I'm in San Francisco and it's playing. I get one seat. I couldn't tell my wife. You know, she'd be so angry, but I saw it. Now she knows that I saw it.
Oh, well.
So I saw it, and it was like the royalty of San Francisco is like for Hamilton. It's been playing in New York for 2 years. It's in San Francisco, and there's like Benioff, and there's Tim Cook, and it's like unbelievable. Like all these, big deals are there.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing show. It was a really good company in San Francisco too.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's exciting. Very excited about this. Okay, these get harder. There's 2 more.
I'm looking at like King Tut. It might be, there was a show, Donny Osmond was in it. I don't know.
This is Joseph
And the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. That's the one yeah.
All right, last one.
I'm not doing that well.
You are. You've got your 2 for 4.
That's Tevye and his daughters. That's Fiddler on the Roof.
Fiddler on the Roof. Correct. All right. 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Great job.
Yep.
That was fun.
But I've seen 5 out of 5. I've seen all 5. Just didn't recognize the scenes.
What's your favorite one? Not of those 5. What is your favorite musical?
Right now, the one with Ben Platt, that it's about depression, and it's just amazing. Of course, I can't remember the name of it. He's wearing like a blue striped shirt. It doesn't help you. You're like a wine guy, not a Broadway guy.
I know I love Broadway, but I don't have Broadway breadth.
Yeah. So I'll remember it before we're finished.
Okay. Jagged Little Pill, which was recently at the ART,
Yeah.
which is Alanis Morissette
Yeah.
interpretation. It's done here at the ART, but I'm calling my shot that thing is going to be on Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
It was incredible.
I think Hamilton was here too before it went on Broadway. There are a few shows that were at the ART and really did very, very well. You know
Okay.
what I'm obsessed with though is I just started watching all these interviews about Alan Menken. Do you have any idea who Alan Menken is? So he writes these great ballads, and he's done all these like Aladdin, Pocahontas, and then he did Newsies too. And so I get obsessed. And
what's Newsies? Is that a musical?
it was a movie, and
Okay.
then it was turned into a musical, and it won Best Score. So he's pretty great.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check him out.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 7.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
This is hilarious. to me.
man.
I feel like this is.
I think it's like maybe it's like the
Spin it again. Spin it again. I want to see
Okay.
it actually land on.
something else.
There we go.
There we go. The bomb
Oh,
nuts.
there we go, the
oh, you
nuts.
love the nuts.
Here we go.
This is where I saw Chernoff. He was going to have one little peanut,
Yeah,
and then he saw you take a whole swig.
They're tasty. How does account-based marketing fit into your go-to-market strategy?
When they joined the company, we didn't look at target accounts, and we didn't have a real design around that. And then we did the analysis to figure out, are there some accounts more likely to buy from us or not? And then we figured out who those accounts were, and we've designed virtually everything around a set of target accounts. And that's both marketing campaigns, it's how we do all of our digital advertising, it's how we do our contact discovery, it's how we do our calling, appointment setting, and the whole process. So we're very focused on a set of 20,000 target accounts around the world. We have about 100 reps, so it ends up being about 200 per rep. And we got everything lined up that way. What we've learned is that certain industries are never going to buy from us. and there's a whole bunch of other factors they'll never buy from us. And so there's a set of attributes that determine whether someone's likely to buy from us or not. And it was important to do all that analysis, and it's really central to everything we do. Now, it's not right for every company.
Right.
You know, if you've got a low price point and it works for everybody, or it's a B2C, or it's a free download kind of a thing, there's certain markets it's not right for. For us, it's perfect. We have a large deal size, so it's about, our average deal is about $300,000 a year, and it's a 3-year deal. They're all 3-year contracts, so it's almost $1 million. So I know exactly who I'm trying to reach, who will buy that, and so it's central to what we do.
Yeah, that's fascinating. All right, question number 8. Home stretch here. All right, yeah, this is the zombie apocalypse sauce.
Is that the pineapple one?
Yeah.
Great.
This one's good, right?
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. I get nervous as this is like pouring out. What's the most thoughtful gift you've ever received?
It's a gift that I've spent more time with than almost anything in my life. And it's a gift that was given to me so casually and in such a natural way that it's almost stunning how it affected me. So when I was around 13 to 14 years old, I had an uncle who played saxophone, and he worked his way through college and law school by playing in Al Jolson's band. Al Jolson was a singer, in the 20s and 30s. And so I was over at Uncle Eddie's house down the Jersey Shore in Ventnor, New Jersey. And he knew I was studying saxophone and clarinet. And he said, yeah, I have my old saxophones downstairs. I said, really? Can I take a look at it? He said, sure. And so it hadn't been opened from the case in like 30 years. And so he opens it, and he had a mouthpiece, and he had a reed, and it was kind of old and everything, but it seemed to play okay. And but it was a very fine saxophone. I recognized the brand name. It was Selmer, and it was made in France, and it's a very fine saxophone. And I said, wow, this is great. I can't believe you have this here. And he told me stories about playing with Al Jolson and working his way through college. And he casually said, why don't you have it? I said, wow, it's been at your house for years and it has a lot of sound. I want it played. He just wanted played. And so I brought it to a saxophone repair shop in Philadelphia to be looked at and everything. And the guy looked at me. He says, wow, he hadn't seen one of those in a long time. And it's a very special model of a Selmer. It's called a cigar cutter, and it's very rare. And it was in amazing shape because it was kept and not played that much for all those years. And so that's the saxophone that I got to play with through school, and I continue to play. And when I say, Daniel, that it's a gift that I use almost every day, I play it almost every day, and I think about my uncle and the generosity of that gift. Just take it, enjoy it. And so I think he would feel really good that that saxophone has been played virtually every day, for the last 30 or 40 years.
Wow, that is a great gift.
Yeah, it's an amazing gift.
I think you've done well with it too, it sounds like. All right. I first of all, I don't want to have that sauce again. So question number
Oh, that got to you, that
9.
sauce?
Yeah.
I think it was the quantity. I don't think it was...
A little nose sweat here. I'm kind of...
Can we zoom in on the nose sweat? We went a little... My God. No. The bomb nuts. We're good with the nuts. You like the nuts?
Going back to the nuts.
Yeah, I'm taking one.
Going back to the nuts. Okay.
I'm off the tea now. I'm on the second beverage.
You recently stated, I think this is when you were having coffee with Dave Gerhardt, although I think it was too hot for you guys to actually be physically drinking coffee that day.
It was.
That communication to your many stakeholders is central to being a successful CMO. Is this a conscious plan, or is this more of now just like force of habit, kind of what you want to get done? No,
it's a very conscious plan. I'll tell you why. My natural instinct is modesty. And I find the marketing of marketing really matters. So both internally to the company, externally to different stakeholders. Also, I grew up, my marketing career in software in particular, is more on the technology side, demand generation. I find that most marketing leaders, they either major in demand gen or they major in communications. And it's very hard to find that balance. And so my natural rhythm is towards demand generation. So I have to work on the communication one very consciously. And I think that a lot of marketers, this may not be exactly where you're headed, but a lot of marketers are just not marketing themselves very effectively. And so I have to think about how we market to the sales team to get them excited, how we market to the board to make sure I get funded, how I market to other C-level executives, how I market to prospects. So I'm always thinking about how we communicate and how we market. So we have my communications team has really done a great job of having a very full sort of communications platform about values and mission and differentiators, and we're always revisiting that. So that's sort of our mantra. All the time we're looking at that and making sure that we're on brand, we're on the right position.
Nice. Wow, that's very good advice. All right, here it is. Question number 10. All right, this is back to the zombie apocalypse torchbearer. You gotta love the names.
I do.
By the way, go ahead.
It's a great name. How you holding up?
I'm good. Yeah,
What do you do after this? Do you drink a lot of water, take a steam? What do you do?
Yeah, steam. I feel like I am steaming half the time when I'm doing this. A little Pepto, a little Malox. Actually, at the beginning when we did this, I filmed the first 4 episodes in the same day.
Wow. Crazy.
Never again. Never again.
That's a good lesson.
All right. How do you see AI impacting sales and marketing 5 years from now?
Well, not to be an alarmist, I see the sales job being reduced. And so the advice I would give to a 20-year-old is don't go into sales. I really think that a lot of jobs are going to be gone. We see bots all the time happening, whether it's like a Drift or a Conversica, lots of technologies now. And of course, nobody wants to talk to a salesperson, with all due respect, even a great salesperson. And so if we thought some of the buying journey was happening, before they talk to a salesperson, almost all of it's happening, and the salesperson just does the transaction. And so I see AI replacing sales to a great extent. I see AI being involved in marketing much more than it has. And the analogy is, I think, Wall Street. And the idea is that 25 years ago on Wall Street, there were actually human beings trading things based on the information they had. But over the last 20 years, what's happened is that people have written algorithms. So it's really the data scientists who can pull in all the information about foreign exchange and what's going on in the Dow and what's going on with orange juice futures, and they can put all that together in real time. So for marketers, the same way. There's so much information coming at us. Who came to our website? Who engaged your email? Who went to the webinar? Who do we meet at the trade show? Who is searching on other websites? The intent data sort of thing. And then it's changing all the time. And it's not just what company, but who at that company. So for marketers to sort of looking at this data, trying to make decisions, it's overwhelming set of data. So I see writing algorithms that sort of look at all these data together and then not just tell a marketer what to do, but actually execute the next campaign. So for example, if Daniel's very engaged and they know that the last 4 pieces of content you've engaged with were all video, don't send them a 200-word blog post. Send them another video. That would be a very simple way. If you're at the website looking at pricing information, don't send something that's top of funnel, because someone's already way down the funnel. So being much more intelligent about that. When I started my sort of marketing career, we would do sort of quarterly marketing plans. We'd sort of review all the data that happened in the quarter, and then 5-6 years ago it was like monthly, and now it's continuous. So we're always evolving things, and once you have enough transactions, you can know whether something was successful or not. But I see increasingly in marketing writing algorithms that will decide what you do next and actually execute the campaign, and is always optimizing. So rather than having humans intervene and try to look at the data in real time, you have algorithms that do it.
Well, all right. Watch out, sales reps. Okay.
And marketers too.
And marketers too.
Yeah, marketers too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, stay curious, my friends. Right. That's a good endpoint. Thank you so much, Brian. Now you've completed. You're victorious.
I have not. Dear Evan Hansen is the name of the Broadway show that I'm obsessed about. Dear Evan Hansen.
Dear Evan Hansen.
Yeah,
there it is.
It's a great show.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out. Dear Evan Hansen. For Rachel. We're playing for Rachel. Rachel Foster, this is for you. There are 3 options that Alice was able to dig up for Rachel. She posts on social media that she enjoys going out, eating out with friends. We know she's about to get married. And so there's an option for a Little Italy food tour for two. Right here in Boston.
Wow.
And, another option number 2 here is, so she shows on Twitter and Facebook that she's a craft beer fanatic. So there is this product called Physics Way Tap Beer Dispenser, which you just got to love the spelling here of the, where she can enjoy her own fresh brewed beer, I guess right off her kitchen counter. And then there is a $100 Open Table e-gift card that she could use to book her own reservation and enjoy a nice night out.
So the way Alice works is you let her choose, and she chooses her own adventure, correct?
We will let you choose on behalf of her because this is going to be your gift for her. So we're letting you be the one choosing the gift.
Yeah.
We could let her choose, but it would feel more, I feel like she would appreciate it more probably for you.
Yeah, let's do the Little Italy, because they're going to be married very soon.
Yep.
It'd be kind of nice to walk through the cobblestones of the North End and have some food, and that's great.
All right, great. Brian, thank you so much for taking the time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dana. My pleasure.